This paper is titled Breaking Barriers: Immigration Struggles During Integration. It addresses the research question, why is it so difficult for immigrants to integrate into dominant culture in the United States? The difficulties result in social problems related to experiencing discrimination, racism, and exploitation, and may present as economic, health, and social challenges. Research show that these difficulties stem from inequities that adversely impact social functioning and psychological well-being. This is largely the consequence of systemic barriers as well as injustice and oppression that restrict access to resources, opportunities, and equal treatment. Injustices are also exacerbated through intersectionality with dimensions of citizenship status, country of origin, language ability, religion, and socioeconomic status. The issue of immigrant integration was chosen as the topic is personally meaningful. My children are considered second generation, as my husband is first generation immigrant. I have witnessed the struggles and difficulties experienced during integration and cultural assimilation by those in my husband's ethnic community. I recognize the complexity and volatile nature of the current social and political climate related to immigration and wanted to research the issue in depth to learn what has been done and understand what needs to happen to eradicate the injustices faced by the immigrant population. Historical context reveals the contentious nature of how immigration has been seen as a complex political and social issue. Through the years, there have been shifts in political and social perspectives on immigration. The Industrial Revolution brought many immigrants, drawn by work opportunities and economic possibilities. The following globalizing era considered tourism and immigration a benefit to the economy. Restrictive policies from the late 1800s to the early 1900s limited immigration, such as only for white people, and held quotas with limits from certain other countries. Opportunities for immigration increased due to the need for railroad workers and agricultural labor, as well as allowances for brides of war. From the 1990s to the early 2000s, more laws were passed that strengthened the border, criminalized illegal immigration as a felony, and penalized employers of illegal immigrants, and made it impossible to get a driver's license without a Social Security number. Current deportation and detention policies intensify problems for non-citizen immigrants. According to Pew Research, in 2023, there were almost 48 million foreign-born individuals living in the United States, totaling 14.3% of the U.S. population. In 2005, nearly 30% of the population was considered immigrant-influenced, meaning immigrants and their U.S.-born spouses and children. As immigration increases, numbers of immigrant-influenced will increase as well. Immigration plays a vital role in sustaining population growth, as fertility rates are expected to remain below replacement levels. Without immigration, the population growth is expected to start declining by the year 2033. Immigration must be seen as an asset to our nation, fostering strengths for globalization and ethnic diversity. However, a decrease in immigration from 2024 onwards is estimated due to executive orders limiting entry at the southern border. Current context reveals now is the time for social change and policy reform. Relational cultural theory is utilized as a framework to address the challenges experienced during immigration by highlighting the consequences of disconnection, which may stem from power imbalances, failure of support systems, lack of empathy, and not understanding cultural norms. Attempts to address the issue include various policies that were intended to help protect authorized or legal immigrants. An amendment to the Immigration and Nationality Act disabled the quota system, but established a visa preference system for those with skills to contribute. This ended racism in the quota system, but not racism in the immigration system itself. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals order protected eligible immigrants from deportation and allowed them to work or attend school. The Affordable Care Act allowed authorized immigrants to receive insurance. However, these legal protections only apply to documented immigrants who still fear deportation and experience marginalization and oppression. The solution proposed by this paper is a person-centered approach that fosters social inclusion and acculturation, which can be done through facilitating immersion, coping and resilience, and collaboration within support systems. The innovative solution is for immigrant advocates partnered with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to assist with immigration. Primarily, advocates for diversity, equity, inclusion, and immigration should focus on increasing community awareness and providing education to help eradicate societal stereotypes and bias. The media can be utilized to promote the portrayal of positive messages regarding diversity and immigration. Other services provided by immigration advocates include training in cultural competency and trauma-informed care, support groups for immigrant-influenced individuals, and immigrant connection services. Cultural community centers are encouraged to improve the integration experience for immigrants. They offer opportunities for both cultural preservation and adaptation into dominant culture. Culturally oriented services, including social, cultural, religious, and educational events, value the preservation of cultural identity during integration. Relational cultural theory provides a solid foundation for the proposed solution because it focuses on development through relational connection and mutual empathy through growth-fostering relationships. This framework emphasizes that connections are necessary for survival and well-being. The outcomes of this paper include raising awareness of the injustices faced by immigrants during integration, particularly through historical events and systemic injustices. Additionally, that the reader would gain awareness and understanding that immigration is an asset with strength to our nation. This paper advocates for resources including connections with cultural community centers and practical services. The ultimate goal is to foster a culture that assists with integration and is accepting of ethnic diversity. Thank you for engaging in my research.